Hello friends, welcome to another edition of Moments with Mom and Dad, where Gail and I share life lessons from our experience in life and ministry and marriage for over 40 years. And we trust this will be a blessing to you. Today I want to read a scripture to you from the book of Proverbs in chapter 3, beginning at verse 13. It says, "Blessed is the one who finds wisdom and the one who gets understanding, for the gain from her is better than the gain from silver, and her profit better than gold. She is more precious than jewels, and nothing you desire can compare with her." Today we want to talk to you about wisdom and finding and pursuing wisdom in our life. I think that this is an extremely important lesson for anyone who's starting out in life, a young person. It's an important lesson for them to hear from somebody who is older and wiser and more experienced. In the book of Proverbs, we have a father that's sharing wisdom with his son. That's pretty much what the book is made up of. And it talks about wisdom in this particular scripture being more desirable than any other thing. Gold, silver, wealth of any kind, possessions. I think of fame and all of the things that go with it. This scripture says that wisdom exceeds anything that you might desire in life. And so the question is, how do we pursue and how do we find and gain wisdom? I think that it's important to understand the difference between knowledge and understanding and wisdom. You find these three words a lot, particularly in the book of Proverbs. Knowledge is simply knowing what to do and when to do it. It's really the what, knowledge. We could fill our life with knowledge from books and with learning and all, but understanding is knowing the why, how things work, why they work, and wisdom is knowing the how. I like this definition of wisdom. It's very simple, but it means a lot to me. Wisdom is skill for living, skills for life. And that's what the book of Proverbs is. And that's what we want to endeavor to pass on to people and to attain for our own life, is the skills for living. And so there are a number of different ways that this can come to us. Would you like to share?
Well, number one is God himself is wisdom, source of all wisdom. So the more we pursue the heart of God and intimacy with God, and we know what he is like and how he responds and reacts to different situations, the more understanding. It's more than knowledge, it's an understanding, because the knowledge, the revelation of his heart is a understanding of a small aspect of the person, of God, his character. And the more we know that, the more we pattern our life in our responses to be as he would respond.
Sure. Yeah, I see the knowledge of God becoming relevant so we understand how that we can glorify God, how we can reflect him in our life. So a wise person is someone who not only knows about God, but somebody who lives like God, who reflects that same character.
You know, I remember when I was growing up, it became very popular, the saying, "What would Jesus do?" But in that saying was also stopping in every situation and thinking about what does the Bible say on how I'm supposed to respond to this? Because if I respond the way Jesus would respond, then I am walking in the wisdom of God and in the knowledge of his word.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I spent some time last night before I went to sleep thinking about wise people in my life, people that I have been drawn to for their wisdom. And I can tell you, it's not a very long list. There's a lot of people with knowledge. There's a lot of people that have impacted my life with their knowledge, with their experience, that have even inspired me. But when you're looking for wisdom, for somebody who can share with you skill for living, the how-to, it's a relatively short list. I think that one of the people at the top of that list is sitting right next to me here, who I've been married to for 40 years, somebody who has gained wisdom through associations that she has had in her life. Can you think of anybody?
Well, I would definitely say the reverse concerning you, because I find myself at times in my life reflecting on who has impacted me the most, and you come to the top of that list. I would say my mom, because my mom was the one that inspired me and lived out before me what a relationship with Jesus Christ looks like. I would definitely say my own mother. But I, like you, the list is short. I have a few acquaintances in my life that have always been a source of wise counsel and wisdom, that if I would want input into my life on the things I would not open up to many people, there are a few people in my life that I would go to that are close, intimate friends, because they'll tell me the truth, they'll pray for me, and they're going to speak back to me what they've gotten in their heart after they've been in prayer. And many times they've come to me before I've even said something, because they've been praying for me and the Spirit of God has already spoken to them.
Yeah, I think it's so valuable to have at least one person in your life that you could look to for wisdom and for counsel. And young people need to hear that. There seems to be a great lack of those kind of people whose example in life just speaks wisdom. And I think of the scripture. There's another in Proverbs that talks about, if you want to be wise, then walk with wise. And I'm paraphrasing, but basically it talks about wisdom that comes through associations with others. So it's so important for young people to be able to find an older person, a wise person that has walked through life and learned the life lessons, and that they can associate with. The Bible talks about those who want to be wise will associate with the wise. I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much what it says.
Yeah. I think that one of, I would say, a danger in our generation, because there's so much social media available with podcasts and YouTube, different things, that we could substitute the voice of relationships in our life that would speak wisdom to us over just gleaning. Not that you aren't getting wisdom and not that you aren't getting understanding and knowledge from a podcast, but you need the relationships, and those things cannot take the place of a relationship. And I think because people are busy, they think, well, I'm having a voice speaking into my life because I podcast so and so. Well, that is a benefit, because you're gaining understanding, you're gaining knowledge, gleaning from the wisdom that they know from their walk with God. But you have to have people in your life that are speaking into your life, and I think we have to guard our heart and our generation to make sure that there is a door for that in our life.
That's an excellent point. Every year, at the beginning of every year, I read through the book of Proverbs, one chapter a day. There's 31 chapters. And I do it more than once a year, but that's sort of the beginning of my year, because I desire wisdom, and it's my continual pursuit. And so that's our prayer for you as you listen to us today. We want to be available to those of you who desire that kind of a relationship. And some people are near, some people are far, But that's one of the reasons why we're doing these moments with mom and dad, so that we could pass along the wisdom that we have learned from ourselves. So thanks for joining us again. We'll talk to you real soon.